It was one of the original boutique real estate firms. And the two of us took it over and just small independent. And between AI and the internet tools, I could compete with the largest, biggest company because I can provide my clients exactly what they need. I'm
Mhm.
not beholden to any corporate operating procedures.
Yeah.
I'm not part of their whatever I need to do for marketing, I can do. I can
Right.
make the switches. I just recently, I'm in the process of switching my website from a Ylopo website to Agent Fire with RealScout. So loving it. I can
Uh,
just make these changes when I think I need to
you're
do
in
it, when
control.
I'm totally in control. Plus,
Yeah.
there's no one looking over my shoulder except for all my clients and all my future clients, but I can deal with that.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes with Real Estate Riches, and today I have Mark Gordon, and I'm excited in Vail, Colorado. How fun is that? Hey buddy.
Yeah, it's not so bad being in Vail.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sunny day today.
Oh, that's a cool thing about Colorado. It's often sunny,
It
right?
sounds like such a realtor line, and I get accused of this all the time, but we actually, our big snow cycles are at night. So it's so crazy. You go to sleep and it's clear out and you see the stars and you wake up and there's 6 to 10 inches of snow on the ground and blue skies. It's so I was a ski bum for years working for the ski company. And one of my jobs was snow reporting.
Oh,
And I was in charge of automating the cameras up on the mountain on the snow stakes. And I would watch the snow would come between 4 and 6 in the morning.
interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
crazy.
I went, I don't know if we were there. I can't remember if it was there or in North in over by Old Snowmass. But I
Hmm.
went skiing with my friend who had just flown out to meet us there, and we didn't think sunscreen was necessary because it was winter. And we were sharing the same bed. We were all grouped up in this room, a bunch of us. And I roll over and I look at her face and I said, I think we have a problem. We had to take her to emergency. She had sun poisoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
light skin, blonde hair, blue
yeah,
eyes. Oh
it's
boy.
pretty insane. Sunscreen all year round.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Let's talk real estate, buddy. So
Sure.
you've been in the business since 2008.
Yes.
And what I
I saw
love,
that recession coming and I said, "Oh, I want to get a piece of that." And
ooh, are you being facetious?
very facetious,
Okay,
yes.
good. I was like, interesting.
No, it was in hindsight, it was a great time to start. I learned the business
Hmm.
and I had to fight for every scrap that I got. Happily, I also figured out that I could officiate at weddings during that time for cash in Vail. And between that and fighting for the scraps of real estate, it worked out very well. And here I am now,
Yeah.
many years later.
Wow, you know what's interesting? I started in 2006, new state, new one person, and I'm like, oh boy. But my background was financial planning, just as you have got some really good pieces of your background that really fit in to help you with real estate, I think.
Hmm.
Well, I kept looking at the stats on how the property prices were rising at record numbers, and I'm thinking, I don't know that this is sustainable. And then it wasn't. And
Yeah. If only you had shorted the market at that time.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I had
Well,
a
and
client here who was a philosophy professor in logic. He saw those same stats and he did do a big short on the market, and he is now very well off and is a
wow.
hedge fund guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I wish I would have been
He's
smart. I didn't have any money to do that, but I would have
Yeah.
liked to because it wasn't logical. I mean, I had my spreadsheets out, seeing properties go up $10,000 a month that made no
Hmm.
sense. People being able to buy like that were broke like me,
Yep.
really expensive homes, and I'm like, nothing's making sense. And so, anyway, it crashed. But like you said, you figure it out. You just figure it
Hmm.
out, right? And even these past 2 years, these have been tough 2 years for a lot of people.
Yes.
But people like you and me who've got grit, who say, I'm just going to figure this out, look for the spots that make sense of how you're going to do it, right?
Yep.
So you're heavily involved with the community there. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I am both, and this fits perfectly within my values and my philosophy of what type of realtor I am.
Mm,
I was on the town council from '05 to '09. Before that, and during a good chunk of that, 3 years of my council term, I was a ski bum working for the ski company, making 14 bucks an hour. But I was a frontline employee. I knew everyone, I learned everything, and then being on council, I actually had a say in what was going on. Some of the things that I worked on, the first affordable housing, deed restricted housing, inclusionary zoning rules and regulations, I was very involved in and a champion. And I wanted to make sure that Vail did not become a cruise ship in the mountains, that
mm,
it remains a vital town. So
right.
that was economic vitality, vitality everywhere, diverse citizens. That's really important. That's what makes Vail Vail. I also have been involved in multiple nonprofits, and so I learn that and I meet people. I'm on the board. I've been on the board of directors of our classical music festival, Bravo Vail, which
Mm,
is in the summer at the outdoor amphitheater, and we have Philadelphia Orchestra, Dallas Symphony, and the New York Philharmonic come and play on beautiful summer nights outside, and it's
right.
amazing. I'm on that board of directors. So I know people, I know the town, and I make sure that I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
You know, that
So-
my theme is no trial closes. I don't say, did you prefer house one or house two? You know, never do anything like that. No used car salesperson. I believe that I'm an educator and an ambassador.
Mm,
And so knowing things about the town, I'm also involved in realtor politics
mm,
I have my CRS designation, Certified Residential Specialist, and I was elected to the National Board of Directors of the Residential Real Estate Council. I'm an NAR director. I am currently running for president-elect of the Colorado Association of Realtors. And all of these things, people say, how do you do that? And what's the cliche? If you want something done, ask a busy person. I
mm.
prioritize, I make it happen. But all of these things that I'm involved in make me a better ambassador, make me a better teacher, make me a better realtor.
So I gotta believe that because of all that, I feel like you're warm and fuzzy to everybody. They trust you. You're like the guy that they feel extremely they would trust multi-million dollar deals or less, whatever, right? They
You know,
just trust
certainly,
your character.
right, those types of people, my favorite clients, yes, it's like instant simpatico.
Yeah.
But one of the really cool things about real estate, and this is great for your viewers, is that no matter what your personality is, no matter what type of realtor you are, there are clients for you if you search them out. And because there are so many different types of people, I tend to work with people who don't want to be sold and want to be educated.
Mhm.
But there are some great realtors who are very selly. And I'm not using that
No.
necessarily as a bad judgment, but that's the way they work because their clients would never do anything if they weren't selling and the clients are still happy and use them for transaction after transaction. So it's just a matter of personality, just like the personality of the clients as well as the personality of the realtor.
Have
And
you
I just
ever,
search after people that like me.
yeah. Smart. You like me? Let's
Or at
talk.
least they pretend they like me.
No, I'm sure they do. Have you ever studied the DIS profiling system?
I have been in so many classes that talks about it, but I have never, I try to be self-aware, but not too self-aware.
I was introduced to it back in the 90s through some personal development. I'd been sued and gone through some emotional, trying to pull myself up by my bootstraps. And so I got on a path of personal development. And one of the things that I'm what they call a high I. So
Mhm.
I'm a personality. I lead with personality. I'm not necessarily the warm and fuzzy. Clearly, you've already been talking to me. And
No, it's so far full of fuzz.
but that, see, fun is how you would describe me because I drive sports cars. I don't have one, I have two because one's got a top and one doesn't, so it works. And
That works
I
good in Arizona, not so well in Vail.
not so well there. No, neither
Yeah.
one would drive for a quarter of an inch. But anyway, but the what I learned about that was first of all who I was, which was really interesting to see my limitations of talking to someone who's, let's say, an engineer, because I just want to tell all kinds of stuff, why this is so wonderful. Let's just go do it. Talk with my hands clearly, and
Hmm.
they need the facts. Give me the
Right.
facts, right? And I'm like, oh, the facts are this is a great price. This is a great neighborhood. You got the money. Let's just do it. I'm a
Yeah.
bottom liner, you know? And so that was sabotaging my business as a financial planner, which I did for 23 years. And so that was really good insight to, first of all, recognize my own limitations with different styles. It wasn't that I was right and they were wrong. It was like, how do I match and not mirror the other person, but really recognize their style so that I'm
It's
serving them well,
Yeah,
right?
it's so important. And
Yes.
I think rather than I understand the disc, I think I intuitively
Mm.
figure that out pretty quickly. And I do have command of the facts and the figures and can make Excel spreadsheets. So I can do, if the person is genuine and authentic, and that's who they are, I can relate to them.
Yes.
I can make sure that we can work together very well. And that's one of the really cool things about real estate with the negotiation. I've taken a lot of negotiation classes, and I happen to be, if I was negotiating for me, a win-win type
Me
negotiator.
too.
I really love seeing win-win situations, but not
Yes.
everybody is like that.
Right.
And so you have to come up with different strategies for depending on who's on the other side, but
Hmm.
you also have to come up with different strategies depending on who is on our side. And in dealing with high net worth individuals and dealing with people who are looking for second, third, and fourth homes, obviously by definition, they're very successful people.
Yep.
And a lot of them are expert negotiators and they've run businesses and they've done mergers and acquisitions. So I have to act as a chameleon with my negotiating style to make sure that they feel like they're getting an expert negotiator. Now,
Right.
of course, it becomes like a strategy game because there I know Vail small. I know everyone who I'm negotiating against as far as the realtor goes. And I've done deals with them. So I know what buttons to push that way, not in an evil, manipulative way, but I know how they respond and what they've probably told their clients.
Mm.
So on one hand, I have to take the instructions of my clients and negotiate the way they want. But at the same time, I try to develop enough rapport with them that I can push back a little bit on negotiating strategy negotiations
Yeah.
so that we can win. Can't always get to a win-win with some people because they don't look at that as a win. To them, a win-win is a loss.
Right.
You have to play around, but I find that so fascinating.
Yes, I do too. Have you ever had like your client was the challenging one? Well, of course you have. And
Never. Never. I have never had a challenging client.
And just the conversation, I try and have conversations up front. And I do talk about win-win. I said my goal is like four wins: the buyer, the seller, the buyer's agent, the seller's agent. I want
That's
everybody
nice.
to walk
Can I
away from
borrow
this.
that?
Yeah, yes. And I want everybody to feel like they were treated fairly and everybody got their piece that was thing. So if that's not your style, because I'm interviewing, if that's not your style, let's talk about that right now because I may not be the person for you.
Hmm.
Because there's a line of, for me, it's integrity. I want everybody, well, I also like everybody happy, but I don't like to gouge somebody. I had a client recently. He wanted me to beat the daylights out of the seller who was not represented. And I told that seller up front, I said, I hate that you're not represented. Will you please get representation? Because I don't want to do your job for you, but I'm going to feel guilty when things are not being done that you should be doing. And I have no obligation to help you. And really, I shouldn't be helping you.
I can't. Yeah.
Yes. And so, oh my God, by the end, they were both so gnarly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want this over. I didn't like either one of them for their behavior because both was out to screw the other guy.
Yeah.
And I was
I'm a
so
big
glad when that
fan
was
of
over.
good representation on both sides.
Me
I
too.
think that is so huge. And that's partially what worries me about some of the trends and movements within our industry is that in a couple of nightmare scenarios, people who need representation are not going to be represented fairly. And
Mhm.
that drives me bananas.
Yeah, well, and I said to him, why don't you? And it turned out he was just cheap. He didn't want to do it. And he said, well, I had a bad realtor before, two times before, and I never want to do that. And I'm thinking, I'll bet that's what you were looking for. Do you know what I mean? Someone who
Right.
was going to play your way.
Yep.
And so I just said, when I would come to the situation, I said, here's where I don't like it because I'm going to tell you our side and you got to decide what you're going to do. And I was so glad when that was over. It really
Yeah.
escalated worse upon worse. So agents, pick your clients wisely. Feel free to say, no, this is not going to work for us. And that's true. Don't you find that? I have walked
Yes.
away.
I have walked away and been walked away from.
I get,
But that never happens as a surprise.
yes,
It's very obvious. We just don't jive. We're not working together. I'm not providing the help that you need in
right.
the way you need it.
In the way that
And
you need it. Yeah.
before it turns ugly, here's somebody that you could work with that works the way you work. And I
Oh,
give them a referral to my worst enemy. And I get money and life is good.
yeah, works out
No,
fine.
that's a joke.
Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
So talk to me about how you're incorporating AI into your business.
Yeah, AI is really interesting. It's both incredibly wonderful and so unbelievably frustrating.
Both.
Yes. And I'm still trying to reduce the frustrations and increase the wonderfulness.
I
It's,
get that.
yeah, some of the hallucinations, I think that's the jargon word for it, where I'll be working on something with it, working prompts, doing this, and then it just makes up something that came out of nowhere. And that
Typically, that's
just,
ChatGPT, wouldn't you say?
I found it in Perplexity as well.
I have
And
not used Perplexity, but that's
I just,
interesting.
I was running into it a lot in ChatGPT. And so I thought, you know what? Let's try a paid Perplexity
Mm,
account to see maybe that it's not happening there. And it happens, but in a different way.
mm,
But they're terrible at remembering exactly where we were. You and I will be able to talk to each other a month from now
hmm.
and remember some of the good times we had in this conversation.
Yes,
AI cannot do that.
that's
It
changed in ChatGPT. Do you pay for it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, and
the
but
new
I've
memory.
yeah, and I have worked with ChatGPT telling me how to do it, where I now create version one, version two, version three, and then I download it immediately upon its producing version three. And so then when I'm asking it to do version four with these changes and it comes out with something out of the blue, I say, no, 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 no. Here, let me upload version three and start again from version three and then make these changes. So
Wow.
I'm figuring out workarounds, but it is amazing. And for the most part, it's a big time saver.
Yeah.
I am using it. I started out by having it write some of my MLS descriptions.
Yeah.
And no, I've never had a client that's allowed me to do this. But so I have a master's in comparative literature
Mm.
and not vocational training for real estate, but still. And from Indiana University, the national champions in football. So anyway, had to get that in. Go Hoosiers. But I had some fun when I first started. I'd write a description and then I would say, now do it in the form of a Shakespearean sonnet. Now do it create a play, a small dialogue in Beckett's Theater of the Absurd version of it. And on and on and on. And I came up with some great stuff, but when dealing with multi-million dollar homes,
Stay the
I think
course.
maybe I could probably post some of those to my social media as a fun with a link
Yeah.
to the real thing, but I don't have as much time for fun as I used to.
Yeah. I love it. I started it about 3 years ago. I saw Elon Musk on TikTok talking about how he saw where it was going and
Hmm.
how he got out of ChatGPT basically. And I didn't know this, but he was one of the original investors of $60
Yeah.
million. dollars. And so, anyway, a whole lawsuit's going on, but that's irrelevant. My point was, I was intrigued because I've always been intrigued with his mind. And I went on TikTok and I said, who's using AI in real estate? And 4 realtors popped up then, just four. Now you would have gazillions, right? And they talked about writing a story. And so I said, well, I want to write a story. And so I said, well, I have an 8-year-old granddaughter. She lives in the woods, and all the animals are teaching her personal development tales. And so it did a cool little story, which made me think, I want to write an ebook for new agents who don't have any collaboration going on in their offices, show them how I started, and kind of do it as here's the beginning, what to pay attention to, what to watch out for, money. So if you run into things like that, you're solid. Ideally, start on a team, things like that. So I wrote that. It was an ebook, I think 26 pages, really big book. And it helped me. I went back and forth and we worked it all together. It did not write the whole thing. It
Hmm.
it helped me write it. So then it dawned on me the other day, I'm doing so much with AI and I have so much AI incorporated into my business. I said, I need to do an update on my book. So I'm working with ChatGPT going back and forth. It's driving me insane that it's not putting the pieces together right. Lying to me and saying, yeah, I've got it all. And then I see the PDF and there's nothing on there. I'm like, what
Right.
the heck? And so I watch a lot of YouTube at night, a lot of AI YouTubes. So I'm
Hmm.
watching this one woman who is just brilliant. I forget her name. I should know it. But anyway, she was started talking about Claude. Well, I've had this other guy out there that's been talking about Claude like crazy, and I didn't want to pay attention because I didn't want to have too many shiny
Right.
objects because this girl's easily distracted. So it said Claude would help you write the book and it would do it really, really fast with you. And I'm like, well, let me just give that a shot. So I go over there and I said, will you do this for free? That was my first question. It said, depends. You may have to stop and start because you'll get credits for so long at free. I said, all right, maybe I'll do that. So I started on the free path, and I uploaded my book from before. I uploaded a PDF that I created that's all about who I am, my goals, my
Hmm.
mission, my integrity, all those different things, right? Whole page on that. So now it knows me because I can move that to any LLM. and it looked at it in a nanosecond. I mean, a nanosecond, both things. It says, okay, we're ready. I go, okay. So then I said, here's some things that I want to do, how I want to incorporate it, blah, blah, blah. So it just started writing. So I could, and it was split screen. I forget what that's called, but one side's the one that's giving you the ideas, and here it is over here. So I could change things over here. We fix this, fix that. And we just started going through it, and it started to rock and roll. And it's only 9 chapters, but I probably doubled the work because I mean, the content, because there was so much more AI that I could
Were
bring
you
in.
using Claude Desktop for that?
I believe so. Is there another one?
Not Claude Code. Yeah.
No, not Cloud Code. Oh, I've just seen that assumed it was all the same thing. No, it was Claude Desktop.
Yeah.
But
They
Claude,
have multiple
yes.
versions
Well,
for it.
I got to a
Yeah,
point
I'll
when it
have to experiment with that.
Yes. Well, and in the video that the woman was talking about, she was in a podcast with a guy and the whole thing was being recorded. She goes, I just dropped that transcript part over into Claude and it's now writing a book on what we just did that's going to explain the 7 different tools. And he's like, what are you talking about? He was so excited, the host. And so he goes and buys a domain relating to what that podcast
Uh-huh.
and he said the first 100 get it free and after that I'm selling it for 9.99. I'm thinking I'm not selling anything. I got to get on this bandwagon. But everybody's selling this stuff. It's
And
annoying.
I've been playing with lately, the last few days, actually, NotebookLM,
Oh, yes.
because I've been trying to do, I'm running for president-elect of Colorado Association of Realtors. And I was trying to, I didn't want to post a resume. I want to post something that looks a little more interesting because no one's going to read the list. And frankly, it's a little embarrassing how long the list is. So I was trying to do an infographic, and ChatGPT and Perplexity just, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But NotebookLM now has an infographic
Yes.
button. There's still some work that I have to do. I'm nowhere near done with it, but it was pretty impressive. And then I was talking to, I don't know if you've ever met him, Keith Robinson from Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered, that podcast.
I haven't seen it.
Brilliant guy. He and James Dwiggins are a shout out to them. But that's one of the podcasts I listen to all the time. But Keith and I were having a conversation, and what he has been working on in AI is rather than dealing with the big LLMs, is he has a couple of companies who make specific AI apps to do one specific thing for him. And that gets rid of supposedly gets rid of a lot of the problems
Yes.
because it's very limited what this app is going to do.
I love it.
And he said it's a lot less expensive than you would think to have personal AI apps built. So that's going to
Well,
be one of my next things that I'm going to work on.
I created one in Lovable because it's
Hmm.
vibe coding.
Right,
And so I just heard about, I was in Barcelona at an event and they kept talking about Lovable and I'm like, what is Lovable? So I go to the website and I go, what are you? What do you do? And said, we can vibe code in here. It said some other stuff. And then I said, well, like, could I create something where if agents were interested in EXP that they could get their questions answered? Said, yeah. And I said, so what would that look like? And it says, we can create an app with that. And I said, well, I'd want it where they felt comfortable to go check out all their questions without feeling like somebody was bugging them.
right.
And so I started on that path of where I was talking about it, and I realized, well, I've got to input information to it. So I had Grok give me all kinds of information about EXP. Then I went to EXP, I had it all kinds because EXP is the most current date, and Grok
Right.
didn't have as much current. And also, they change stuff so fast. So
Yes.
then I imported that. I imported the thing on me, who I was, and it created a really cool app so that I get notified when someone actually does go, but I don't know who it is. I just want to see some numbers. And we did Google Analytics to see where they're coming from, what days, what are
Yeah.
they most interested in?
Bringing it back to real estate,
Yeah.
because that's really interesting what you were talking is I believe that there are personal apps that an MLS or an association can create to show value that other people aren't. And plus, there is user agreements and confidentiality. So I know that there's a lot of agents who run reports from their MLS, upload it into ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to do stuff with it, which technically that's not that's breaking your agreement with the MLS because ChatGPT is not keeping it, it's going everywhere at
Right.
that point. But creating a closed app that can do that and has access to the MLS that's owned by the MLS
Mm.
becomes an incredible value. I mean, you
Yeah.
can create an app that does reverse prospecting for you. Or how about if you get a notice in your email or text whenever a potential comp comes on the market
Mm.
so that you don't have to search for it. It's just like, hey, your house at 123 Main Street has been for sale for a few weeks. We just got three new comps that were listed today. Go ahead and
Wow.
look at these. I mean, so there's so much
So
potential.
much
I'm
that can be
giving
done.
away these ideas for free. You get an idea, and you get an idea, and you get an idea. But it's all for the benefit of the consumer in my mind. That's what's overwhelmingly so important.
Well, that's what happens when you start playing with this stuff is your people say it's going to stop us from thinking. I go, no, it makes me fire up. I mean, my brain just boom, boom, boom with that. I can't stop with all the
Right.
ideas. It's
Yeah.
great. I love it. Let's see here. What do I want to ask you
What
about?
else? Wait, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So I am the chair of the Colorado Association of Realtors Inside Advisory Council
Mm-hmm.
Committee. It is a think tank. And one of the things that we are working on, we are a group that is looking to find issues, not the issues that are on the cover of Inman, but what's going to be on the cover of Inman a while from now and advising the leadership of Colorado Association of Realtors on those issues. And I know with your wonderful podcast, you're talking to tons of people from all different types of people within the real estate industry. So and I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I probably should have wrote to you saying I was going to ask this, but after talking to you for a while, I think you can answer. But what issues or issue, what do you see on the horizon as an issue that's coming up either for agents, for brokerages, MLSs, or organized real estate?
The biggest thing I see the whole real estate industry transforming, completely transforming. I feel like franchises are going to go away. I feel like this big conglomerate, and people may say, well, she's with EXP, that's why she's saying that. No, I see it. I wasn't always with EXP. I
Right.
was with Coldwell Banker, I was with Remax, I was with KW in a small boutique that was also a franchise. And what I saw was a pattern of that all the franchises had. First of all, there was hardly any collaboration. There's not the same incentive. The franchise, the client is the buyers and sellers, whereas with these companies like EXP, the client is the agent to
Right.
EXP. So there's a whole different mindset. So you empower the agents. The agents feel like they could be a single person and just feel very, very empowered because of what the platform is. Now, does everybody do it? Heck no. So many don't. Don't pay attention because they're not true entrepreneurs. And I think you
Right.
need to be an entrepreneur as a realtor. But what I see is I see the crumbling of the franchises because of the expense,
I'm just
because
taking some
of
notes.
because of the expense. There was a KW office right by me that I was at, and I knew what their monthly nut was just for the lease. And
Hmm.
over 300 agents in that building. And then the staff that they were paying to keep the lights on, the
Right.
power. And when we left, I thought, boy, we were a mega team that left. I had just joined the team and they left. And I thought, holy cow, now I understand how difficult, because I'd also had businesses before and I knew the overhead costs. So I see a Compass taking those on. I'm kind of baffled by it all, that that's an approach that they went. I mean, they got bigger brains than me probably, but the debt structure that came
Hopefully.
with that, and then also the uncomfortable feeling of all the agents that are a part of that. That's the piece where I see it.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling you about that other woman I was talking to. There's got to be a lot of agents that are very unsettled by this, of who their identity is and what it's going to be, how they're going to be paid, who's helping them. There's a lot of uncertainty in the,
Yeah.
in, you
I
know.
started the business at Sotheby's after I
Ah,
got my license. And it was great. And I learned branding and I learned quite a bit. But I moved. So it started, so I was at Sotheby's from 2008 till part of 2013.
mm,
And then in 2013, another Sotheby's agent, a friend of mine, the two of us took over an underutilized office at the Christiania Hotel.
mm,
And there had been a real estate office in that space since the 70s. It was one of the original boutique real estate firms. And the two of us took it over and just small independent. And between AI and the internet tools, I could compete with the largest, biggest company because I can provide my clients exactly what they need. I'm
mhm.
not beholden to any corporate operating procedures.
Yeah.
I'm not part of their whatever I need to do for marketing, I can do. I can
Right.
make the switches. I just recently, I'm in the process of switching my website from a Ylopo website to Agent Fire with RealScout. So loving it. I can
Uh,
just make these changes when I think I need to
you're
do
in
it, when
control.
I'm totally in control. Plus,
Yeah.
there's no one looking over my shoulder except for all my clients and all my future clients, but I can deal with that.
Yeah.
And actually, going back to the AI, our what did we're doing the weave. The Real Scout now just released an AI search that
Hmm.
is awesome. Still first early generation, and it's not for the public. It's
Hmm.
for us, for the professionals.
Ooh.
It's not a public facing interface, but it allows us to ask in conversational English what our clients are looking for, what we're looking for. And rather than check boxes, which are very static, it creates searches that are much more organic, going back through the MLS information. And what's really cool is you write your paragraph of what you're looking for, and then it'll show you what check boxes it came up with. And it'll also, and what prompts, and then it goes back through, and hopefully I'm not butchering it, but it figures stuff out. It reads between the lines, and it just is a great tool. And that's what AI is.
Well, and
AI
that's
that
how people
works
search.
is a
That
great tool.
I love that tool. Tell me what
Yeah.
the name of that is again.
Real Scout is the company.
Real Scout. So, to give you an example, I was driving down the highway. I was late for an appointment. I didn't know where I was. I knew I had to get off at this exit number coming up. And I was meeting someone at a Starbucks. I didn't know if I had to turn right or left. And if I turned the wrong way, it was going to really make me late. And so I just said on chat where I could talk and have it talk back. I said, I'm heading west on 97 and I'm getting off at 49. Where's the Starbucks? Do I turn right or left? Which lane do I be in? And boom, it just has a cool conversation with me. And I got there perfectly. But that's what you're describing is how people think of how to buy a house. And we are
Right.
trying to put them into their little niches of check boxes.
Yeah. I mean, you could say, I want something that is walking distance to dog parks in a neighborhood that has no mosquitoes and
Yes.
asphalt. What you can come up with anything and create a paragraph that's close to my favorite bar, within walking distance of my favorite bar, and it will figure all of that stuff out.
And how it'll figure like the factor of the mosquitoes, like it's not going to say somewhere that there's no mosquitoes here, but it's going to figure it out that this is more of a cement area than it is of a treed
Right, there's
area,
no standing water. There's
right?
no ponds near you. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Vail has no mosquitoes. Just want you to know that. It's
I did
our
not know that.
summers are glorious. No mosquitoes, no cockroaches,
Oh, yeah.
uh, and no humidity.
And
It's a
no
beautiful
humidity.
thing.
It is a
And
beautiful thing.
snow at night.
Yeah, it's heaven. Well, this has been great, Mark. I really appreciate having you on here.
Yeah, no, this has been so much fun.
Yeah, I loved it. So, all right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed Mark. We're going to have all his contact information in the description below. So you'll be able to reach out to him and send him some business out in Vail, and maybe
Yeah, if you
he'll.
want to come skiing, contact me. I've got lots of inside. I will set you up. That's the way a ski town works. You find insiders who want to be your concierge and help you, and I will do that for you.
Ooh,
Just
I love that. I'm going
get
to
in
remember
touch
that
with me.
myself.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.